Philadelphia sports team week.
That's right.
These are wonderful
I
shirts.
like this blue color, actually. All right, we are back again, and the topic this week is the quiet storm, and this is more related to your long-term committed relationships.
What are those? No, I'm just kidding. I shouldn't say it.
You're in one, you should not.
I know. I love you. Sorry.
All right, so what we're talking about here, because we've talked a lot about relationships in the past, and we're trying to give as many tips as we can to try to improve some of these. These are not just things that you could work through in your committed intimate relationships. I mean, these are for relationships in general. Although it has a little bit of a skew towards your committed relationships with partners, it works for all kinds of relationships.
Any
That's right.
long-term relationship.
So originally what we want to talk about is the difference between what happens in the long-term relationship in terms of the R word, which is resentments, which come up a great deal and can lead to long-term arguments. And the big thing in relationships and long-term relationships, it's not big betrayals. It's not these big, humongous issues that take up a lot of space in terms of the negative interactions. It's
micro.
It's right. It's the little things, right?
It's the little things.
It's the daily kind of nuances and annoyances that get under people's skin. And statistics show that couples will report that it's the recurrence of the same arguments over and over again. And that's what causes the big deal in these longer term relationships.
Yeah. And a lot of resentment has to do with expectation, right? When we have expectations essentially are just premeditated resentments.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Jump in on that one, girl. All right. So tools for resentment. The number one tool we like you to take away from the resentment piece of this is you have to name the resentment before it stacks up. Because think of resentments as something that only just adds weight on top of it. And so then it just starts to get bigger and bigger and bigger. The longer you sit on it, the longer you don't say anything, the longer you let that scrub daddy sit in the kitchen sink every night and don't squeeze it out and put it on the thing. And the longer you don't say anything about that.
There's even an area. There's a little
dish
thing for that. No?
The longer you don't say anything about that, the more resentful you get every morning when you walk into that said kitchen and see that scrub.
And then what? Like you leave the pantry door open and the food's staring at me and then it just takes one time and that's it.
Or the light in the pantry is on when I open it.
Ooh, you fancy.
Yeah, there's a light in there.
Our pantry, I say pantry, it's a closet.
They're all closets, but this one just happens to have a light and it's on all the time when I open that door. So the more you stay quiet about your resentments, the worse it actually gets. So if you think, and we've said this over and over, it's the hill we'll die on. The more you communicate, the healthier your relationship will be. So you have resentment, state it. This really bothers me. This is really kind of annoying me. How can we deal with this? What can we do about it? You got to state the resentments. Don't let them stack up. They get weighted. Then there is, in long-term committed relationships, the score-keeping trap, which is, I do all of this, you don't do any. Or, I did these 3 things, you only did 1 thing today. Or, I woke up every night with the kids, you didn't do that at all. You did 0 of the waking up with the kids. And so what we're doing is, we're holding on to resentments. I'm mad at you because you don't do as much as me. And so now I'm going to consistently tell you, I do more than you. You do nothing, or you do very little. And so we're pointing that out on a consistent basis, and that will lead to disagreements and arguments in the relationship big time.
Yeah. And our shirts are very appropriate. So my dad is one of those people that like buys a scorecard when he goes to baseball games and gets the little pencil.
I love that.
Yeah. So I actually, years ago, I bought him a book.
Okay.
That it's just like a plain one and you fill it out. So he has this book and there are some in there from like when they won the World Series, literally like 2008. But we do that in our relationships also. We buy our own book, we put the date, and then when you're talking to me, I'm like, in 2008, there was a triple play.
You did that.
And you flubbed it. Just want to let you know.
Yeah. And that is so unhealthy in the long term, right? We're holding on to things and then we're bringing them back out later. So a way to kind of circumvent this and to get this a little bit better is instead of treating your relationship like it's transactional pieces, work on explicit requests. If I feel like I have been doing more, Kate and I are in a relationship. And according to our website,
we are the same last name.
So if we are in a relationship and I feel like I did a lot today and I'm about to go do the laundry, what I could say to Kate was, hey, I'm about to go do the laundry. Could you empty the dishwasher? Explicit request, right? I'm not going to go do the laundry and then be stewing about how she left the kitchen and the dishwasher just is still not done. I'm just going to ask the request. If she says, yeah, I got that. Cool. I'll do it. And she does it. We're great. I got exactly what I needed from that. If she says, no, I'm not doing that, then we can work on that issue, right? That is a problem. I do have an issue with that. We are going to have to talk about that. That's fine. But that explicit request versus the transactions.
Yeah, like sometimes I'll be walking around like all
Hmm.
resentful. And recently I'll catch myself in my head. I'm like, girl, did you ask him to do anything? And
Right.
other me goes, no,
Hmm.
we did not. And I
Yeah.
go, why are we getting mad then? Other
Mhm.
me goes, I don't know, because it seemed fun on a Tuesday
Yep.
to get just upset. And so, it'll be like one of the things, like we've ran out of paper towels. I always got to get the paper
Why
towels.
am I always filling the toilet
Girl,
paper
no, you
bowl?
don't. So the other day we were out of paper towels. I was cooking. I said to my husband, do we have any more paper towels? He goes, let me go check. Goes
Hmm.
upstairs and brings two down. Imagine that. That's
Two,
crazy.
not just one,
Right.
two.
All I had to do was open my mouth and
Hmm.
ask, where I could sit there and be like, I guess I'll stop cooking the broccoli and go up there. And
Yep. All right. So the next part is the identity shift in long-term relationships. There has to be understanding when you are in a long-term committed relationship with somebody that your roles change, they evolve.
mm-hmm,
And so when you throw you're not the same person anymore at a person, yes, that happens in relationships,
mm-hmm,
especially in these longer terms. So when you met in your younger years, whatever those years were, whether they were only 5 years ago or they were 15 years ago, you were different people.
mm-hmm,
And things have happened. Your roles might have shifted. You might have new jobs, new responsibilities. You might have children. You might have to commute longer than you used to. There might be so many things. You might have illnesses and sicknesses that have really changed who you are. And so the relationship has to evolve and change with each other. You don't just expect that person never to change.
don't go change it.
Yeah. I mean, and that's a real thing. That phrase of you're just not the same. You're not the same when we met. That gets thrown out a lot at people in these long-term relationships. And yeah, duh. You're not going to be the same.
And the thing that's crazy is the same person that will say, "Pff, you're not, I don't even know you." I think I've said
Yeah.
that probably. Like, I think I
You're like, I
definitely am
don't
like,
think I did that.
are you the same person? Right. And
Mm.
you're not actually saying like, because someone will be like, you are not the same person.
Mhm.
I don't even know you
Yep.
anymore. You're also that same person that says, I don't even know you. Is like, why won't you change?
Right.
What?
Right.
Like, first, in this instance, I changed and you go, no good.
Mhm.
And then I changed then I'm not changing over here. And you go, change some more.
Right.
Like, what is it? I can't keep up. I can change. I can. It's good.
Right.
It's bad. I don't know. You can
And
see how it's hard for
yeah,
people.
and here's the whiplash that happens in a relationships. Let's say that a husband and a wife are in couples counseling and the husband says to the wife, you're just not the same as you were when we first met.
Mm-hmm.
And the wife says, yeah, I'm a mom now. So when we first met, I had only to worry about myself. I had my job. You had your job. We had tons of free time. We could go out all the time. We had plenty of time for each other. We had plenty of time to hang out and have fun with our friends. We had children. My role changed.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe my identity in that role was that I really threw myself into that particular role as a mom. And so I'm not the same person, but you can't be a mom necessarily and be the exact same person you were before you had kids because now there's an extra person to take care of or several. And so your roles change. So you can't go back and say, you're right, I'm not the same person anymore and I need to change back. You can't do that. You can't divorce yourself from a new role. So the relationship has to evolve with the role changes. That goes with dads too. Now they are taking care of kids in the middle of the night. So maybe they're not as fun or they don't get to do as many things as they used to. Don't plan date nights. Maybe they don't shower you with the affection that they used to because they're tired and they've been helping out with the kids. Yeah, we can't hold people accountable to who they used to be before our roles changed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think, I think about my own. It's like, my husband had two children before we got married. I had my own. And now I am like an
You
empty
are.
nester. Right. And so that role has changed me considerably because I didn't really have I was only worried about this is the first time in my adult life that I only have to be concerned
Yeah,
really with myself and my own schedule. It's the
right.
first time. So that
Mhm.
is it's kind of like the
Yeah,
reverse, right? And my husband's children are still like in school, so it's different. Like
yeah.
he's still doing like the
The
parenting, there's
everyday type of stuff.
schedules,
Yeah.
there's like school and summer break and blah 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 and hobbies, and I'm just like do do do. I want to go for a run.
Yep.
It's lovely. Nesting is lovely. Recommend highly.
Uh, all right. Another thing that happens in long-term committed relationships that we need to watch out for or that we need to actively work to get through is emotional hostage situations.
Oh, Damn.
where you are taking those emotions and you're going, nope, you're not going to get them from me because of how I feel. I feel like I'm resentful to something you did. I feel like I'm not happy with you. So you're not going to get my affection. You're not going to get my time. You're not going to get my communication.
That's that's the punish.
I'm holding all that
The
hostage for now.
punisher.
Yes. Yeah. And of course, as you know, we're going to say that's not the way to go. It's not going to help the long-term committed relationships, but people will go long periods of time where they hold these things hostage. So a lot of times it will have intimacy. Intimacy will be a huge consequence. People will be like, well, I'm not having sex with you. And
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be a while until I'm having sex with you. And so
Mm-hmm.
that is that
You better get
emotional.
right.
Yes, that's the emotional hostage situation. And although everybody has their rights to get intimate when they want to get intimate, we don't want to necessarily take our affection and hold it hostage. You're allowed
No,
to be upset.
withdrawing love is
Yes.
that is like a
And
special kind of like, that's just like emotionally violent. I'm just going to say for what it is, because it is like
yeah.
withholding love as punishment. Like,
And
damn.
here's the thing that I want people to think of as indifference is a danger zone for your relationship.
Yep.
And the more you withhold affection, the more your partner is going to adjust to it.
Mm-hmm.
So think about that. I might be mad at you and I'm going to withhold my affection. But if I do that enough, Kate is going to get used to it. And here is the end all be all of your relationship, because Kate is one day going to get to the place where she goes, you know what, Nina, I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
And when you don't care, you don't care. The
Mm-hmm.
relationship's over, right? So if I condition her to get used to me withholding
Mm-hmm.
affection,
Mm-hmm.
my conversation, I'm going to go upstairs, shut the door, not talk to her for a couple hours, whatever. Maybe not a couple hours, maybe a couple days. That's more of a emotional hostage situation. But eventually, if I do it enough, I'm conditioning the relationship this way. Kate's going to turn to me one day and be like, I don't care that you don't talk to me.
Because I found some other
Okay.
shit to do.
Yep.
I did some
I got used to it, right? I adjusted to the role change
Yep.
in a negative way, right? I
Yep.
adjusted to this negative role change, which is you hold your affections hostage. Eventually, I got used to it.
Mm-hmm.
And once somebody gets used to it, the relationship is in a really bad place. So indifference is a danger zone for your relationship when you're in a long-term committed relationship. So watch out for that. Let's not hold our affections hostage. We want to talk. Conversation, communication is key in every single one of your relationships. So we want to put the focus on that and not holding anything hostage. Okay. They should just know. It's its own topic. They should just know.
We should do a whole ass episode on that.
Almost every single couples counseling sessions I've ever done in my whole career, this phrase has come up.
I shouldn't have to say it.
I shouldn't have to say it. They should just know. Expectations of mind reading equal resentment. Think about it this way. If I expect Kate to act a certain way and she doesn't do it, but she has no idea, and I'm now pissed. I have resentment. She walked into the room. I wanted her to do something. She didn't do it. Now I'm mad. She has no idea what she was supposed to do. None at all. But in my mind, if she knows me, she should have known what to do. The interesting part about that is we don't treat anyone else in our life like that except our committed partners. We would never treat each other like that, right? So you walk into my house and I'm like, she could have dusted when she came in here. I would have never thought that about Kate.
Where's her dessert tray today?
My husband walks in. I'm like, he doesn't see that dust. He doesn't see that
He just
dust.
walked right by it.
Right? So if I needed something from Kate, I would call her up, be like, hey, I need a huge favor. Could you do this for me? She'd be like, word, I got you. Right? We don't feel like we should do that with our partners.
Mm-hmm.
We feel like, but they should just know.
Mm-hmm.
They should just know that I need them to get that for me, do that for me, handle that for me. They should just know. Why? We ask everyone else in our life, even family members we ask, but our committed partners, we have an expectation that they should just know what we need.
Mm-hmm.
Not a good place to operate from. And then you got to ask yourself, well, why am I so uncomfortable asking for what it is that I need?
And that goes like, I think part of it, one piece I think is like it's vulnerable, right? To ask for what we need. And especially if you're in a long-term relationship, you may have a pattern of like not asking. So you have like,
right. There's that conditioning.
yeah, like, oh, if I ask, they're not going to show up anyway. How many times you hear that? Not just in couples counseling, like, did you tell so-and-so you were upset? And they're like, they're not going to change. There's no point, right? So there's like that where I'm like, I don't want to do it. But I think the other thing, and this is what happens a lot when couples fight, is there is a need The person recognizes I'm upset, I'm triggered, I'm frustrated. And this
Hmm.
goes back to our other episode. I have no idea what the trigger is that I'm triggered. So I actually have not connected in the dots myself
Hmm.
what the need is. I'm just coming at you because I feel some kind of way. And so we're having this dialogue, and you're like, what can I do? And you're like, I don't know, stop doing that thing, right? You might be like, you're always on your cell phone all the
Hmm.
time. And then you're, no, I'm not. And we're defending it. When
Right.
really, what the person didn't say is, I want quality time with you. I need quality time with you.
Hmm. Right.
So we hung on to the story, which is you on your phone all the time. So
Right.
the other person is like, I'll come at your story with my own story.
You're on
I'm
your
only on
phone
my phone
too.
too. And we talking about all that, and never does it get brought up.
Yeah.
I need quality time with my partner. That's what I'm
Right.
looking for from you.
Right.
When you do X, Y, and Z, I don't feel like I'm getting it. So a lot of times it's the person, the mind reader is like, I'm not even going to take the time to think about my own damn need. But not only am I not doing that, you should do that.
Yep.
One, you should identify the need. I didn't. And then you should meet the need.
Yeah.
Make that make sense.
Again, you have
Crazy.
no
It's crazy
information.
making.
No
You got to
information.
figure out the need and meet the need. Both ESP.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I had this conversation. I'll change it a little bit so nobody will know who we're talking about. But I had this conversation with someone a while ago. And she was very, very upset with her husband playing golf a lot, because golf is like a 7-8 hour experience. And so they're gone for a long time. And they were got into this argument about, he's like, fine, if you don't want me to play. She's like, it's not that I don't want you to play, but you're gone all day. And, da, 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 da. And in the conversation,
Mhm.
so they went back and forth. He was like, okay, I won't play. She's like, well, it's not that I don't want you to play. It's
Yep.
that you're
Yep.
gone so long. When I was talking to her, I was like, what are you really upset about? And she said, well, he spends 6 or 7 hours with other people, but never 6 and 7 hours with me.
Her need, quality
Right.
time.
I said, okay, tell him that. So
Yes.
she goes back and she says, hubby, you know what it really is? It's that, like, you get 6 or 7 hours with these other people, but we don't get. And he goes, oh my God, I would love to go out with you for 6 or 7 hours. Let's go. What do you want to do? And he planned the whole thing, and it was fine and it went well. But left undone like that, it would have been about golf. And they would have argued forever about this particular situation about golf. And it was really about, well, I would just like to feel special for 6 or 7 hours with him, like this experience he has with all these guys. And that's fair.
But also the flip side to this, to play devil's advocate, but I think it's also important data. Listen, data is not always what we want. But let's say it's like, I would like to spend 6 hours with you. And then the person hears that need and goes, oh, damn, I don't want to
Oh,
spend.
damn.
But for real, right? Like
Yeah.
you're copping these resentments. You don't even really know what it is. So we can't make an ask about our
Mhm.
needs. Our needs aren't getting met. But now we just got clarity.
Yeah.
This is a need I have. This person is saying, I don't think
have
I
that.
can meet it.
Yeah.
Okay, we need
Yep.
to know that too,
That's true.
because that also, right?
Yeah.
Let's say someone says, you ask for clearly, I want quality, and that person's like, I can't give that to you.
Yes.
And you stay in it. That is a quick way to
Yeah.
cop resentment. They already just told you.
Right.
They can't do it. And you're
Right.
like, but maybe.
Or sometimes the answer to that is when somebody requests more time, the other person says, I really think I'm giving you plenty.
Yeah.
Like, so it's still data. Like you said, it's still what you need to hear. It's like they're honestly answering, I really think I've been giving you like the most I can.
Right.
And you're telling me it's not enough. We've got to figure that out, because that happens a lot.
Right. And so the clarity on your needs, just to clarify, like we are not telling you that they're all going to get met. That is
No.
not what we're
Nope.
doing. What we're trying to figure out is what our actual needs are, who are we going to, and where are we going to get these needs met.
Yeah. So again, we're kind of going back to the communication is key. You've got to express your needs pretty clearly and stop having the expectation that someone should just know. And then when you ask clearly, take the feedback for what it really is.
Mhm.
Whatever that answer is, take it for what it is. And then last thing, just to end on a more positive note on these committed relationships and kind of how to work through them and how to get rid of that quiet anger is, and we talked about this before, we steadfastly believe you can go to bed angry. But we'll caveat that with two things. One, healthy couples argue. Healthy couples absolutely argue. So those couples that are like, we've never had a fight, I'm always like, what? What? Healthy couples do argue, but here's where healthy couples exceed. They're great at repair. They are great at the repairing an argument. They can
Mhm.
figure out the communication to repair what an argument just did. So they're great at the repair, but you can have healthy arguments when you are in a
Mhm.
long-term relationship. In fact,
Mhm.
they're necessary for growth. They're just absolutely necessary. What you want to do when you're in those particular arguments is understand when the argument is taking a negative turn. And what we mean by that is there name calling? Are we getting aggressive? Has it escalated?
Yelling.
Are we
Mhm.
screaming? Are we yelling? Has our tone changed? If that has happened, collectively take a break. On the side of that, you then reconvene. And you don't have to reconvene in 5 seconds. You can go to bed or angry if you want to, but within 24 hours or so, you need to readdress what has occurred.
Mhm.
Because longer than that, we can build resentments, we can feed into resentments, we
Mhm.
can create false narratives, we can go to other people and get information that then gaslights us and changes our perception of what happened,
Mhm.
which is
Mhm.
also not great. So what you want to do is take a beat, say, you know what, I don't like the tone that you don't say you say, I don't like the tone that we are headed to right now, or I don't like the avenue that this argument is headed to right now. Can we talk later tonight? Can we meet at 8 o'clock in the family room and we'll talk later about this? So if you can, have a meetup point and have a time where we both agree we're going to talk later. If you can't, within 24 hours, make some sort of communication attempt that says, hey, I'd like to readdress what we were talking about last night. Healthy couples argue.
Yeah, and I have this like thought in my head, like you got to dysregulate. Like if you are dysregulated, you does not equal communicate. Dysregulate does not
Yes.
equal communicate. If you need a moment to
Yeah.
deactivate yourself, and because you're dysregulated, you take the break.
Take it.
Just talk about your
Oh,
own
you're saying say your
experience.
I statements.
Use your
Yep.
I statements like, listen, I'm feeling super activated.
Mhm.
I have to take a break, right?
Right.
So just
Also, to
talking
your
about your
point,
own
it's
experience,
almost
it requires a little vulnerability to say, like, hey, I'm not really in the headspace to do this, or
yes.
hey, I'm
Right.
super activated, or hey, like I want to respond and I can't, or
Right.
hey, I'm like too angry to hear you right now.
Mhm.
So using I statements is really
Yes.
a really important piece of that like pause.
Yeah. It's really okay to say, I'm getting very upset. I'm getting very activated.
Yep.
I'm getting very emotional.
Hmm.
And I really want to be able to talk this through with you. So I just need a little bit of time. Just
Yep.
make sure you try to agree on some sort of time to reconvene, because when you
Yes.
break, if there is no time that we're going to talk again, there's anxiety. Like, how long is this going to go on for? When are we going to?
Hmm.
I still have questions. I still have things I want to talk about. So there's a little bit of anxiety that goes if both people don't know when we're going to try to resolve it. Because most of the time in relationships, you want a resolution.
Give me the circle back date.
Yes.
I need the circle back date.
We'll
Where
circle
is
back.
it?
All right. So good luck in those committed relationships. We're hoping that this helps to break down some of the issues that come when you are in those relationships. In the meantime, please check us out on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I was going to say
Were you going to say
Facebook.
Facebook?
Yes, which one are you
Oh,
on?
girl, that almost boomered you. Whew.
Jesus, I don't.
Goodness.
That I don't even know. I
Wow.
wouldn't even know how to work that
Is
one.
that like when I said, where's the we love football about the Flyers?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or nearlynormalpodcast.com, where you can interact with us, email us, talk to us, let us know what you like, dislike, or what you'd like to hear us talk about in the future.
And if you don't do that, or until you do that, please stay nearly normal.